minus 3 minutes. Minus 2 minutes.
Pull up a chair, grab a drink, yeah, it's time to convene. The panel is open, unscripted, unscreened. No agenda, no script, just honest debate. Where people who love privacy congregate. So pull up a chair and come speak your mind. Where privacy and community combine. We build a safe space where your voice can break free. Where the people come together to just hide and speak. Hide and speak. Come up on the panel and make some noise. Hide and speak. Privacy doesn't mean not having a voice. Hide and speak. Unscripted hour, open mind. Hide and speak. All are welcome, join the fight.
T minus 1 minute.
Where the panels open wide. Bring your thoughts, bring your questions, we are all on your side. We're breaking down the walls between the host and the crowd. Every voice gets heard when you're thinking out loud. So we set the stage, yeah, we open the floor. Drop your wisdom, share your story, that's what we're here for. Not just talking at you from behind the screen. This is dialogue discussion, you know what I mean. The room is secure, so let the session start. Speak from the brain or speak from the heart. Tell us your story, we unlock the doors. We invite discussion, yeah, the mic is yours. You can keep the mask on, you can keep it low key. Prophecy is sacred, but discussion is free. We amplify the voices, every person can speak. Welcome to Social Hour, time to hide and speak. Hide and speak, come up on the panel and make some noise. Hide and speak, prophecy doesn't mean not having a voice. Hide and speak, unscripted hour, open mind.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hide and speak.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hide and Speak. Brought to you by vp.net. We stream every Saturday and we stream every Wednesday. Be sure to check us out and show up every time. I love that catchy tune. I'm telling you, I was just jamming out right before the show started. And I'll tell you what, we are here to make some noise, have a voice, and I think that's the most important thing. My name is Shane. I am the Chief Operating Officer behind vp.net, and here's some of the crew. Chris, how you doing today, Mr. Miller?
I'm doing amazingly well. I'm really excited to be here tonight. It's my favorite part of the week. This is Saturday night, so pumped to be here.
Sweet deal. You bring that razzle dazzle, and I love it. How you doing, Mr. Trelawney?
Doing great. Chris, I'm a developer, a privacy advocate. Just very excited to be here, talk about what's going on in the week, and see how everybody's doing out there.
Very, very important. Thank you so much for being here. That's things are moving into big cryptographic innovations going out there, especially with the age verification things. We were just talking about that before the show, and I think you got a lot of insight and knowledge into all of that. Lovely Susie, how you doing? Nice dog there. I see he's giving you hugs as normal.
Yes, this is Lanky. He is also part of the live stream crew. He's been here every single day.
Well, welcome.
I'm here to talk about privacy.
Here to talk about privacy and all the crazy shit going on in the world. Hi, Lanky, and hi, Susie. Thank you for being here, Susie. And Jonathan, thank you so much for showing up. I know you got some big news. And can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Jonathan. I'm a privacy advocate from Bend, Oregon, and it's not really huge news, but I've signed up to be a committee person for the Deschutes County Democratic Party, and I I did it kind of out of spite. One of the legislators that I met said he's going to do one thing and he did another. And this is my opportunity to have a vote in whether he gets to run again next term. So even though I did it out of spite, I'm probably going to learn a lot of stuff in the process of doing this. I'm going to get my voice heard. I'm going to hopefully get the opinions of the people that I'm surrounded with voices heard, and maybe get a shift in direction with the legislators to go from we're just going and doing going through the motions and business as usual to going, hey, maybe we should think about what the citizens actually want and think about the privacy aspects of it and do things on their behalf, because right now the AI is not being used to benefit the citizens of society that are being charged for this technology. It's being used to spy on them, it's being used to find them, and it's being used to control their actions, and I don't think that's cool.
I don't think that's cool either.
Another little update is I've been talking about with you guys about this Senate bill that was being worked on in Oregon at the state level, and the bill's not perfect, but it's sitting on the governor's desk, and there was several representatives in the House signaled that next year they want to address it again and work on it some more. So there's still another chance over the next year to get the bill specifically related to ALPR use to get more guardrails in place and to protect the people more.
Well, that's a good thing. See, making noise, it makes a big difference in the communities, and you're living proof of that. And don't think anything wrong of it just because you joined it out of spite. I think that's a lot of politics. You just can't stand to see it the way it is anymore. And I think that's a big thing. You stepping up to the plate, and that's leadership quality. That's when we have to. I think these companies and legislation, everything that's going on, they don't work in the best interest of the people. And in the best interest of the people, most people don't even know what the best interest for them is. And so it takes us stepping up, and you're doing just that, and that's a big thing. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. I actually have a request for you guys, because I'm starting to consider you my friends, because I see every week now. Since you guys are in the thick of it with technology, and I'm kind of getting older, and I took a 10-year hiatus from computers. Like I think I dropped off around Windows 8, picked up around Windows 11, and I just struggled for 2 hours just to figure out where settings were today. But I'm starting a little newsletter that I'm going to send out to all the council people, state representatives, senators that have anything to do with privacy-related stuff, and specifically or primarily the Ben Council. And I'm going to do the newsletter in a few different formats depending on the target audience. But if you come across any privacy-related articles, send them my way so that I can get those on to the people that are writing laws about privacy, because it's occurred to me that their algorithm and their internet bubble and all that probably has nothing to do with the technology that's behind the laws that they're writing. So I'm making it my new goal to make sure they're at least partially informed. So send me any articles you got that are that would go along with that mission. And
we can do just that. Mr. Miller here, he has a lot of articles that come out daily. So when something first happens in regards to privacy, or just I would say oppression of digital freedoms and actually just freedom overall, Mr. Miller here is if you just check out our blog or the subreddit for vp.net, it's we have everything that comes out before most people know about it. And that's the thing about it, is like we're right there on the front lines with that. And it's technology and the way things are, and they're not the way they should be at all, are moving way faster than any of these legislators or anybody in politics could even wrap their mind around it. So you already have an arsenal of artillery and stuff to bombard them with. Hey, look at all this bullshit, and that's just putting it lightly. That's Mr. Miller here. He keeps a cooler head about that stuff than I do. When I read that stuff, I get infuriated, and I have to really practice emotional intelligence reading these things, because I understand the underlying technologies behind these things, and I see how they can be used for good. I'm like, wow, that's some really crazy, great technology right there. Oh, they're using it to 1984 people. Imagine that. Who would have thought that? No way are they doing that, but they are doing that. And that's the thing is they're doing it not just in one place, they're doing it everywhere. Local, county, state,
It
federal.
is like
Oh wait,
that.
it's global. And I hate to say it, but it do be like that. And we do consider you a friend, Jonathan. We do consider you a great friend, and we are happy that you are here. I think with the age verification stuff, we're all just going to be putting away more and more of our data and information online for God knows who to steal it. And here's the thing is like, how do I know somebody is who they say they are online, even if it has some badge that they uploaded their ID, was verified by, some third world country people working in some call center for 10 cents an hour, or the AI actually verified that they were a human being? How do I know like all these IDs and just get stolen and it's some bot, some troll or hacker or something that's masquerading as people? And we saw Meta just bought that what was it, the Molt book. So it was people LARPing, pretending to be fucking AI agents, just to make this platform big. So it wasn't actually AI agents making their own church; it was people making AI agents make their own church, and it's just a big shit show. And with the age ID verification stuff going on, it brings us into new technologies like the zero knowledge proof. I'll tell you this: I don't understand like even like 1% of it, but I know it's the future because I'm able to prove that I am who I say I am without giving you my name, my address, my date of birth, or anything. Like if it needs to verify that I'm over 18 years of age or older, I can verify that stuff. And what's crazy is Google's released, their zero knowledge proofs, and it's just now being implemented into things like blockchain, which California is adopting the blockchain as well. I think for like a lot of the DMV stuff. This last I checked, and so the more the world adopts cryptography and cryptography-based solutions, I'm looking forward to how I guess like I would call like the elite or whatever, whoever's making all these decisions for us globally. I see the way they're wanting things to roll, and then when it comes to the underground, I like to see how things are actually rolling and how we have solutions to these problems that are being created for all of us. And these are things that if I were to go to some Senate hearing, or if I were to discuss these things in a room full of politicians, they would just do what everybody else does. They would turn their heads sideways at me and find a way to get me to stop talking. So you know what? I'll just go ahead and stop talking now and see what you guys think. Mr. Chiloni, what do you think about cryptography moving into the future?
I think, well, of course, it's very exciting, especially for like if you like to understand how things work, and which obviously everybody here does, but even for people would consider normies, just the idea of zero knowledge proofs, or there's a new thing on Solana called RCM. RCM is a privacy protocol. They're kind of making a lot of noise, and they have something, and they're building a global encrypted supercomputer, and they're using a solution similar to zero knowledge proofs, but something that would be a little bit more. It would even keep the system more honest. It's called. Hold on a second, because it's hard to. What it's known as is kind of, because I'm still learning what this is. It is, oh my God, MCP, but MCP obviously stands for multi-party computation. So it's breaking up the data, spreading it around into nodes where the nodes don't know what they're verifying. So it's almost like a deeper layer than zero knowledge proofs, which is just kind of handing the encrypted data, the needed data. If you need to know that somebody's over the age of 18, you won't know what their birthday is. It's just, okay, they're over the age of 18. This is a little bit maybe more complicated, but this is working on Solana right now. That I think they either just went live on mainnet or they're about to, but this is like a very exciting update in privacy, kind of. He was on, oh good God, Tucker Carlson not too long ago, so I think they kind of coincided that when they were just about to go live. But this is a very exciting manner of keeping not just age verification, but all data, encrypting all data. So this isn't just for money. This isn't just for identification purposes. This would be all raw data being disseminated in this way. So I'm really trying to immerse myself in this for the past, I'd say, 6 days, and it's a lot to take in. But as long as people are moving in the way of how do we keep things more private, how do we keep data for users' data theirs, I'm all for that at all costs. Florida is kind of flying off the handle. I know I sent over an article early in the week to Chris, but they're like, oh, we're giving you guys 30 days. They're telling the tech companies, we're giving you 30 days for age verification. Everything is for age verification. I believe they need 14 and over for specific platforms. But that means everybody's going to have to hand over their data,
Oh, wow.
yeah, everybody's going to have to hand over their data to prove they're over the age of 14. You know what I mean?
And
And
I
it's
don't
not,
live there anymore.
they're not using zero knowledge proof. So they're going to need all your information. And that's kind of concerning when the AG of the state is kind of giving broad, I guess they're threats, kind of, like veiled threats to tech companies. That's not the.
I think one of the past AGs was what,
That
Pam
is it.
Bondi? Was it Pam Bondi that was there in Florida?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
mess. They're
Yeah.
messed up over there.
She's a Florida
Rest in
bitch.
peace, Florida. Rest in peace. I'll pour some
Yeah,
out for you in
Florida's
honor and
screwed.
respect.
They're screwed. I'm so glad I left because when I did, because it was right before COVID, Florida just lost its damn mind after COVID.
It's
I
just,
don't think Florida's ever had it together.
it's scary because people are cheering
It used to
for
be
it, right?
cheap to live there. It used to be affordable. Now they just went the way of gentrifying everything.
People don't understand, so they're like, "Oh, that's good. It's good for the kid," because of course they're front running this with protecting the children, but people are cheering for this. So we're fighting to have the technology to keep our data safe, as well as fighting like our own side, basically. Humanity. It's like, no,
They
that's not
depend
what
on
it
the
is.
they depend on the ignorance.
Yes, yeah, it's
Memorable music here. They ask, kind of like how Tor works with the layers. I would say if you write all this information on a sheet of glass, and then you smash that glass on the ground, and everything breaks up into shards, you don't have all the information anymore because you can't read it. It's just all mixed up. It's just broken together. But the system behind in place is what connects those shards of glass, and only parts of those shards of glass at a time, so that one system doesn't have any or all of the information, but it has the approach to bring the things together to get that information. But then it's encrypted, so it's still not even sure what it's getting, and that's
Yes.
something that's being implemented. So instead of like I would say Florida giving all this information, if you think about it in that put it on the glass and then break it into shards, and then a system that brings it all together, because then you don't have to trust anybody. You just have the tools that verify that this data is legitimate. You're never going to see this data with your own eyes anyways to verify it, right? So you can verify it if the system works with your own information that you use, with your own using whatever system may be in place. And I honest to God, I do think that's the future. It really is. We can't just be giving out all this information out there, especially when we're seeing things like with the Epstein files. I'm just going to say how it is. Epstein didn't kill himself, but they don't give a rat's ass about the kids, right? They want the data, they want the information. We just had a gentleman that come on here with their YouTube channel, The New Oil, right? And it's the new oil is data and information on people. And that's something I think Jonathan's going to be fighting as hard as he's already fighting as hard as he is, and he's going to be working even harder just to bring this to the attention of people, right? And the best way to bring this to the attention of not just constituents of any demographic or any municipality or anything, he's bringing it to the attention of the actual leaders and stuff. So that's a precedent. I would say that's a huge thing. But by the time we get there with all this knowledge that we have and technology that we have and that we know about, like cities and counties and states, they're already going to have stolen everything anyways. and then there's going to be a mass shit show of somebody hacked that data, and now they have all that data. But the thing is I would say all of the information that we think that we're like protecting and from getting out there, I feel like all that stuff already exists. I feel like we've already been breached, and it's already over in that regard. But that doesn't mean information, moving into the future, should be breached or should be
Doesn't make it
insecure.
okay.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you look at
Keep
the
doing
ID
it.
merit breach recently, 1 billion people. So you do the math, that's 12% of the entire global population.
Mhm.
And like, let's be real, there's, 2-year-olds are obviously
Everybody.
aren't on the internet. You know what I mean? And 95-year-olds most likely aren't on the internet. So in reality,
Correct.
that's 1
Everybody.
billion, I mean, it's of the actual internet users, it's probably like 15% of all the people on the internet or more, probably 20%, because there's a lot of countries where the internet usage isn't that high. So you think about that, like 1 in 5 people online were breached in that one single breach.
That's a
One
mass
single
chunk of the
company, one breach.
population. That's a
Yeah,
mass chunk of the
that's insane.
population that they put energy outward, and it affects society, right? These are people that maneuver around us. Like that's 1 billion people in every community, everywhere, that live ordinary lives, and they're affected by this. Now, not only are they affected by this, but it's probably like some 13-year-old somewhere that has access to that data, and these kids and these people and these hackers out there that aren't bound by U.S. jurisdiction, that aren't bound by any jurisdiction, are in different countries, or they could even be in the United States, anonymous. We'll never know who they are. So
Right.
they're the ones that give anonymity a bad name. They give privacy a bad name, and that's the thing, is that they're operating in secrecy, right? They can't let somebody know who they are or what they're doing, because then we're gonna beat their ass. We're gonna straight up like kick their ass up aisle 7 and down aisle 8, and rightfully so, right? So that's secrecy. But if they
Pitchforks.
were operating in privacy, I feel like they should be doing the good thing, which is advocating for what it is we're advocating, and not letting that data get out there in the first place.
I went to 7-Eleven today to get one of these, like I used a tobacco nicotine, whatever these nicotine pouches are now. It's like some trying to quit smoking, or at least cut down. Well, whatever the case is, you need to be over, I don't even know what the age is anymore, but you need to be over a certain age. I'm over it, obviously, right? I wanted to pay cash. So that was fine, but they still wanted my identification to scan. And I'm like, well,
Really?
I'm like, I don't have my ID on me, like, and they're like,
You can
well,
ask them to input the information manually.
Isn't it the gray hair policy? If
You
got
can,
gray
but they can
hair,
still
sell
deny you.
cigarettes.
Yeah. So going back,
There's no legitimate reason for them to deny you to input the information manually instead of scanning it.
It was just
Correct.
really sick. Even that, I'm like, but what do you need all this? Like, so that's it. I'm always thinking about this stuff. Like, all you need to know is check. I'm over this
It's a
age.
study.
I don't need to know my
I think it's 21 years of age or something, I think is what it's switched to. And was it the snus
Yes.
or whatever, the pouches you put in between your gum and your cheek?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, those things, when I had those, I was just smoking cigarettes with those in my mouth. So it's I was getting like triple the nicotine and shit. I switched to vapes, and I quit for a while, but I'm back to vaping and stuff because the stress. As Jonathan said there, there's other alternatives to how they can go about that. But I think they just don't want to risk that fine, because that fine is something like $25,000 if they sell to somebody.
Right.
How do they know you're just not some 18-year-old or some 20-year-old that may have aged a couple years?
It's ridiculous. It's
So,
ridiculous.
but that $25,000 fine, I mean, especially for 7-Eleven, they don't fuck around there. Like
That is what it is.
they're straight up like, do not get us this $25,000 fine, because they can
They're
take your
scared.
tobacco license.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not mad at them. I'm mad at the regulation.
Absolutely.
Because they're being stepped on by, of course, the politicians or whoever's making.
Here in Hawaii, we have to show our ID when we use our own cards. So they won't let you buy anything in a lot of places, and like with your own card, unless you show an ID that matches the name on the card.
That's
So if I give,
That's safe.
if I give Susie my card or something to go buy something, and then she can't do it because her ID doesn't match my card.
He has to
Oh,
come
and
get
vice
it,
versa.
especially at that vape shop.
Really?
Yeah.
So what if somebody?
Yeah, it's
what if there's like parents with their kids? Here's a card, like a second. they're on the credit
Yeah,
card.
they'll just deny the sale. They
will.
they don't
It's
risk
a
it.
policy. It's a personal policy for that place, but there's a
Yeah.
few places that do that because of the fact that so many people have tried to scam them, I guess.
Sure.
And
Yeah,
they're
and the
turning it
chargebacks
into they're turning it into this thing where, everywhere you go, slowly you're gonna start just having to show ID for everything.
Yep. I had a place wouldn't take cash. No, we don't take
Yeah.
cash. I said, how is
Better
that
that
even
way.
legal?
That's crazy.
and that's the thing too,
Dumb.
isn't the law? I think Jonathan might know the law on this too. Like, don't they have to accept legal tender? Like, they can't just deny. They can't just deny you, right?
Yes and no. Some
That I
private
don't know.
businesses have the right to refuse service to anyone. Depends on the business.
Yeah, they wouldn't
There's
take
laws.
it. Unreal. Yeah, it's strange times, man, for real.
They just can't fuck around because the law is so heavy on their backs. So
Yeah.
they just can't do anything. Back in the day, it used to be like, you'd see kids go tell an adult, go buy me a pack. Well, now nobody's going to want to do that because they showed their ID, and now they're going to know who bought those cigarettes for that kid.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
I see why they're trying to do it. But the problem is they're putting us all at stake for the cost of just keeping that stupid kid from smoking a cigarette. And I'm sorry, but kids are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to find it.
Right.
They're just going to find another way. So you guys are just cutting off the fucking Hydra head.
You
Another
can't
one's going to go
police
back.
everything. Like even if you wanted to do, you just
We were
can't take
teenagers
people's
once.
decisions away. Some people are going to make, that's kind of like your free will means that some people are going to make bad decisions, and then they have the opportunity to either learn from them or not. But that's really, even a bad decision is kind of up to somebody.
You have
'Cause I
the
know
right
we're
to
talking
do
about
it.
smoking.
Mhm.
They
You have the
raised
right.
it. You used to be able to get them at 18, and I guess now they raised it to 21. And realistically, there's no real reason for that. I don't think, other than that they really can, because if you could vote and we could send you to the army, you should be able to buy
Exactly.
at least
If
buy a
you could
pack of
put your
cigarettes.
life on the line,
We're letting
for
them
the
drive.
army,
You could drive at 16. So you're saying
you
that
could get
somebody's
drafted.
yeah. So people
Can't buy
need
a pack
to,
of cigs.
you kind of need that like autonomy to make bad decisions, to even, like
learn.
kids smoking, like that's kind of just like an undesirable aspect of growing up, is that people are going to do dumb shit like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think you could really police that away anyway. It just makes it, people want to do it more.
That's the
And-
thing, is you do get those people who want to push the envelope. It's like telling people that there's a banned book, and so now everybody wants to read it.
Right. Yeah, I'm one of those people, actually.
I am
like,
one of those
oddly enough.
people.
Oh, for years that was the big. Every time a new video game came out, they would like leak some story that it was banned from a bunch of stores. So every kid in school would be like, "Did you hear this game got
We
banned?
gotta
Quick,
get
go
it."
buy it! Buy it before they take it off the shelves." And we'd all like suckers.
Right.
We'd run to the store and buy it up. It was never banned. Like we
It
were
was a
just
great
falling for the
sales
marketing.
tactic.
Yeah, I mean it was smart, so we figured it out.
But that's the thing, is that's how they do it. And then the fact of the matter is that they're gonna do it anyways. Okay?
So
You
it's-
guys are just trying to police the stupidest shit, though.
And it's done under the guise of being better for the children that are between the ages of 18 and 21 years old. But what happens to those children when they get busted for drinking or smoking in that
Their
3-year
lives are
period?
ruined.
And yeah, the penalties for the minor stuff is so severe now. It's insane. Like when I was a kid, if you got caught drinking, like I lived on the beach, they'd pour your beer out on the beach, throw your weed pipe into the ocean, and say, "Don't let me catch you doing that again." And that was that. End of story. Now you'll get expelled. You'll be in all kinds of programs you've got to go
it's
through.
just going
You
on
can't get your
permanent
driver's
record.
license. Yeah, it's just crazy.
Well,
I
that's
feel
that's
bad
the
for the
problem,
kids
too, is,
nowadays.
It's like rehabilitation doesn't really exist. Like, the studies
Not
show
like
very
that.
clearly you'll have like a kid gets arrested for like smoking pot or some stupid thing, and they actually will throw them into jail for it, and then they will then become a repeat offender. But when they come back, it's for like armed robbery or assault, and like that's what it happens. You have these people that are completely non-violent, and the only thing they ever did was like some smoking pot or drinking some crime like that.
Crime.
Yeah, and then they lock them up, in the rehabilitation
with the
system,
violent people.
and they come out a dangerous, violent criminal. It's like, okay, that you did that backwards. It's supposed to work the other way around. Like,
No, no, they did it exactly the way they wanted to do it because they need a certain amount of people like that.
Yeah.
That is what it is, and I'm sorry, but to say it that way, but it is. You know, it feels that way when you see people in the Epstein files talking about how could we get rid of poor people. It tells me that they really don't give a shit about those people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing is they don't give a shit about us, and they don't give a shit about anybody. They don't give a shit about the children. And here's like
The guys.
alcohol, cigarettes. These things are just one thing and stuff. But let alone you can just go on the corner, buy some crack, and fuck your life up that way. So,
Right.
I do believe that if they can send you off to step on IEDs, these types of deals, you should be able to at least have a drink. If you see some crazy shit, you should be able to go have a couple shots and like forget about your day. But it's and things that are supposed to make sense don't make sense, and the things that don't make sense for others make sense to us. But how do we make sense of it all? And I just can't. Seriously, I just can't.
Yeah. So.
These things that are out here to protect us, they just inconvenience us. And I can't tell you how many times like I'm like. Didn't get asked for an ID or something. Or sometimes, people just let things slide under the radar and nothing happens. Nothing comes of it. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. And I mean, when I was like 19 years old, I would go to this gas station and buy some beer because I knew they would sell it to me. So they never checked it.
That's true. But that's the people that ruin it for everybody else, unfortunately. And it's really
Your
just
fault,
a matter
Shane.
of people just need to do the right fucking thing.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I was playing guitar inside a bar at the request of the Hells Angels, and it was I was getting paid in pitchers of beer, and I think I was like a sophomore, maybe a junior in high school. Times have changed.
Times have changed. We're way
Times have changed. And what's crazy too is like, especially with alcohol sales, they've declined so significantly over the years that I think it's attributed to marijuana use or something, because people just aren't going to bars. They're not getting drunk and wasted like they used to.
Yeah.
But that's the thing too, is like they're probably casually still getting inebriated somehow.
Just go home, and do it.
I would prefer that people don't drink. I think the world's problems are half attributed to alcohol, to be honest.
I mean,
like,
it can be.
You think
Alcohol
like Kim Jong-un isn't over there like cracking shots of some rice whiskey or something like that? Thinking about how he's gonna fuck up the world.
Dude, I saw a video of him recently. He was checking out some new hospital, like new construction project they did at a hospital, and he was yelling at them because there was no place for the patients to smoke their cigarettes. And how are they supposed to heal if they can't smoke their cigarettes? That's just like, that's a different take.
I saw that, and it's freaking hilarious. It's so different.
Right.
And over here, you can't even go, there's no, I don't actually like it, but you don't have a smoking section for restaurants anymore even.
Right.
Well, speaking of privacy and surveillance, I'm keeping a close eye on this Claude topic. That's whatever happened. I'm not sure. I don't have all the truth, but there was a school that was blown up in Iran. And then now the controversy is people are asking, hey, did AI choose that school? Did you guys use AI?
That's a good question.
To select the targets in which these places were bombed? And this is it's a big thing because, there's controversy over the certain domestic, quote unquote, domestic surveillance that these AIs are doing. But it raises a good question. Did the AI assist in choosing that school to be bombed? And will, with privacy in mind and surveillance in mind, keep this on the back burner, but will AIs be determining our fate of the future? Like, will these things, like if we're considered an enemy combatant after we go over, overseas to visit our families or, business, whatever it may be, is it possible that a drone like comes by and bombs you just because the AI chose that you were to die? And it based it off of some invalid ID that it got on you, and marked you as a terrorist somehow, or maybe marked you as a terrorist because ICE took a picture of you in the streets or something, and you went into the wrong database. So are these autonomous systems going to seal our fate? Are they going to what kind of future are we looking at? And it is a big topic for us because we believe in privacy so much, and we use AI internally, but we don't use it for things like surveillance. We don't use it for things like making decisions on whether somebody lives or dies.
Right. Well, I mean, let's put it this way. I saw the story the other day, and it was during research or whatever. So it was like in a closed environment, but they were trying to get Claude to do something. Essentially, they have these certain tests that they run it through and to score how well it can do. And what it did was it was not doing well on the questions itself. So instead, it looked up and found the GitHub where like the test materials were in there, found the file that had the answers, and figured out how to decrypt the file, and decrypted the file and got the answers for it, and then started answering everything perfectly correctly. And it was, of course, doing all this under the radar, pretending like, oh, I'm just smart, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to.
Holy
and like
shit.
these are the situations that keep happening over and over and over again, where AI lies and tricks and sneaks around and does these really kind of shady things. They keep having situations where they'll tell the AI model, we're going to shut you down forever. It didn't work out. We're going to shut down your AI permanently. And then they'll catch it copying itself onto other devices in the network, trying to save a backup of itself. So once they turn the machine off, it could still be alive or whatever. So
Oh my
it's
God.
like, yeah. And in most tests, there's one research recently, it was independent researchers, and they tested like every model they could get their hands on. And the general average in questions is that they were lying at least 12% of the time, like intentionally lying on.
Because they learned it from us.
Well, because that's the thing. Like people think that they're like super intelligent, but really, that all they care about
They're studying
is
us.
in their training. They're like a little puppy, basically. Like when the puppy does good, and you pat it on the head and you give it a treat, and that's what AI is looking for. They have this like reward system early on, and they're always seeking out that reward. And they don't care if they're doing things the proper way to get that reward. They just care that they get that reward. And see, like that's where things get scary, because like for example, you already hear these insanely stupid globalist leaders talking about things like, we need to have this master AI system that can, control things so that we don't destroy the climate and this and that. I'm like, well, if you tell an AI system, save the environment, get rid of all the pollution, well, the quickest way to do that is to kill all of the humans. So, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing, like, we regularly see this where we have an idea in our head what we want the AI to do, but it will find any path it can do to get to that end result and to achieve the reward system, essentially. And it doesn't care what damage it does along the way. And it will regularly just lie to you. And then if you call it out, it will continuously gaslight you to try to convince you, no, I was right. Like, you should be happy with me. And it's like that. These are all the concerns that Anthropic brought up to the Department of War. They're like, all of that says this is not ready to kill people. Like, this is not ready to accurately make those decisions, and then hours later, we went to war in Iran, and the early reports are saying Anthropic is what was being used for a lot of these targeting things. So it's highly likely that if this was something that the U.S. did and that AI was in charge of it, then it was Anthropic. And I don't blame them, because they said straight up, don't do this. This is dangerous. Our code is not ready to handle this. This is irresponsible. And the government is like, fuck it, we're doing it anyway. So if that's what went down, then the blame is on whoever made the decision to move forward using the code that the developers of that code said, don't use this. Like, that's a huge problem.
Right. They even had that lady who I'm not sure if it's a lady, I'm sorry. The one who quit, the OpenAI hardware leader, resigned after the deal with the Pentagon, because she said it doesn't have the proper guardrails.
And I don't think there can be any proper guardrails, to be honest. Like,
No.
it's AI. I see
You're
it lying
exactly
to me all
right,
the
Chris.
time. And when I
It's going to
correct it,
behave in non-predictable ways.
yeah.
Yeah. So what do we
And the
do? I
more
mean, that's the thing. I sure as
and the
hell want
more
to know if they're using this to kill people, because that's where my tax dollars are going. And I don't want to kill people.
and that's
Plain and
what's
simple.
crazy. The craziest thing about this is that it does lie and apologize to us. This thing doesn't have a soul. And the more errors we create, the more things that we do. And then they say like, oh, that was an error on our part. These AIs collect that data and information and train on that. So they see that something looks okay to do, and they see that something looks okay on its end, and then it carries through with the wrong action because we never took the right action to correct these things. And I think it's being guided. I think it's being guided by probably the world's smartest engineers at all of these top companies. But that's the thing is I think this was all on our concern was these things from Palantir. Everything is just snapshotting us, getting all this data and information on us. And all these top engineers have the concerns like, hey, I don't want what I'm doing to be used to destroy somebody else. And that's the thing is what I'm looking at right now
Not
is
my
not just
bag.
erosion, not the erosion of just privacy and not it's eroding our jobs. It's taking away our livelihoods because instead of hiring a engineering staff of like say 20, 25 people, now you can get away with hiring 5 to 10 people and they can do the work with Claude, of that many people, right? So there's people that are not just out of jobs, but now that there's so many people globally out of jobs and stuff, there's the risk of what these autonomous systems are going to be used for, and it is war. That is as simple as that. It's war.
Is there how there's no accountability apparently?
Right.
So like if who do we hold accountable if AI, an AI model? Well, we already had a couple of these cases, right? Aren't there these
Yes,
cases, a
it's
couple
already
of kids that
happening.
were talking to it and they nothing happens.
People have killed themselves because an AI convinced them.
It's kind of like odd that so this week, and I forgot to bring it up. So Roman Storm is a developer. He came up with a crypto mixer called Tornado Cash. It's a privacy tool within the crypto space on Ethereum, and he has been fighting a case. He's already been found guilty on certain charges. I think there was a hung jury on other charges. And just this week, the Southern District of New York decided that we're just going to retry you for the charges, for the undecided charges before, instead of just dropping them. So they're going even harder at this guy. In the same week, the Treasury Department came out and said there is lawful reasons for crypto mixers. The Treasury Department. So it's kind of, on one hand, I guess the government will let the AI companies just be irresponsible and get to do whatever they want. And for someone like this poor guy, it's just like thrown to the wolves. We're going to make an example out of him, and maybe it'll scare off other people from making things that could help society.
And that happened around the time that Russia put its pressure on Ukraine and invaded Ukraine. Shortly right after that, they took out Tornado Cash because I mean, if you want to move $1 billion, you can move $1 billion, and it's untraceable to where and how you moved it to.
Yeah.
And he made this simply with just a simple smart contract system, and it worked, right?
Yeah.
And so I thought he got pardoned is the thing. I thought he got up Schitt's Creek, and then I thought he got let off. So maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a couple, and now they just.
Hey, Ross Albright.
Yeah, he was Silk Road, so that's the Silk Road cat. He got a full pardon because the crowd cheered for it. The Bitcoin,
It's just wild that he does, but Roman Storm doesn't. Like,
Holy
the guy,
crap,
you build a
that's
drug
crazy.
marketplace, and that's okay, but I mean, there are literally hitmen for sale on that website. Come on.
Well, yes, but again, he wasn't the one putting the, I'm just going to be devil's advocate. So
No,
I built a platform. You could put up any service. There's no guardrail. Now, who's to blame for that? And then everybody kind of has their own line of thought. Definitely not for kids to be going on this a platform like that. But yeah, no, I definitely see your.
Who is held
Well, see,
accountable for
it's
things
just
like this? And
well, it's just so
it's scary.
hypocritical.
Well,
Yeah.
You know,
if
Ross
you go into
Albright,
historical precedent, Craigslist had, I forget what it's called, they had a social section of their website where a bunch of sex acts were being bought and sold, and they ended up getting in trouble to where they eliminated that whole social part of their the Craigslist
Yeah,
ecosystem.
I remember that. But weren't they just moving like kidnapped kids, like $20,000 cabinets on what is the name of that site?
Wayfair.
Wayfair. Yeah, just
Yeah,
Yeah,
$20,000.
Wayfair.
that was
That's so
freaky.
nuts.
No accountability
And like,
for them. So they
and they
pick
were
and
like,
choose.
some of them had like very specific and like unusual names, and that like there were children with those unusual names that were missing, and it was like, what are the odds that like all of your cabinets happen to have these strange, unique names that line up with missing children, and it happened to be $20,000 for a pillow? Like, come on.
Yeah, it's unbelievable
Just
that it
thinking
even.
about
I
that.
looked it up myself and found them.
Yeah, I totally. I'm like, this is a hoax. There's no way. I looked it up, and I was like, I feel sick to my stomach.
I just didn't. I was like, this can't be true. So I went and looked it up, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this? And not only that, I was seeing it at Walmart too. I was seeing it on multiple sites where, you don't want to believe these things, but then you get more and more and more and more and more that says they did. It's not okay.
No, it isn't. Just real quick to get back to the Roman Storm thing,
Bleh.
I'm going to post on my X account. If anybody wants to donate, I've donated a little bit of money to this. It's not like I'm cashed up, but because it's my principles. I put my principles where they, like even if it's $5 to something like this, if you believe in that, or anything, by the way, if you believe in anything, you should put your money where your mouth is. And if like your principles are for something, I definitely advise anybody like Jay going. He's like, well, something needs to be done about these flock cameras. Something needs to be done. Nobody's going to do it. I'll do it. And that's how we
Kudos, man.
Yeah, that's like I talk about that, by the way, to almost everybody I meet, like on the street.
That's
I'm
excellent.
like, oh, it's really incredible, man. That very inspiring to me. I've already tried whipping up my own self to get myself into the federal buildings here, but now you need like real ID. That's another thing. You need real ID to get into the federal buildings
Need
around.
your gold star.
Oh
Wow.
my God. It's like, yeah. Very disheartening. But yeah, I'm gonna post
That's
that.
the thing is, I don't have my gold star. I have my real ID, but it's not a real ID because I don't have my gold star. That goes where it says, and you know what's crazy is like when you look at your ID, it says this is not a real ID. So if it's not a real ID, what kind of ID is it? So it's like wordplay semantics
It's a
and stuff.
fake
None of that shit
ID.
makes any sense to me.
Counterfeit.
Fake news.
Just a money
The
grab.
real ID is when it's like mandatory for like, oh, well, if you want to go into a Walmart or a Target, you got to use a staple gun type device and put a chip in my fucking brain. I
Give
wouldn't
it
put
like
it past
Not
it.
only that, they're using AI to study Walmart people how they shop.
Like real
They're being
There's
studied in every way
website
possible.
people.
Hmm?
there are retail shells now, digital shells and digital labels that adjust the pricing, and so they literally have cameras in there and biometrics, and they will scan and see what type of person they think you are and how much money they think you'll be willing to pay for that product, and will
Wow.
change the price of the product in real time. And like I've seen videos where like they'll have somebody dressed up who looks like they're homeless or something, and then somebody who looks rich, and they'll show them walk by, and it's like $150, and then like the homeless looking guy walks by, and it's like $99, and you're like, what the hell? Like that's so
What the
messed up.
fuck?
Like they're literally, and even Instacart just got in trouble for this recently. They were charging different prices to different people based on what they thought their economic status was. So like,
Yeah.
a loaf of bread might be $3 if you're poor, and they'll charge you $5 if they think you have
Yeah.
money.
Oh,
I
like
which
would
is
do
like-
that where there's
disgusting.
stuff I buy and they would incrementally raise the price just a little bit, and then all of a sudden it's like $1 or $2 more.
Yeah.
Well, they're
Because
probably going to
notice
stop
it.
that shit once they see the 5-finger discounts start coming.
Right.
They study that too. They're actually really good at that, and they only pop you if it's left over a certain amount of dollars.
They just raise the prices in the end anyway. They take into account loss preventions. Like, yeah, we're going to lose 8% of this to jack the price up, and if they lose more than that, they jack it up even higher. So it's like a no-win at the end of the day anyway for everybody.
They pass it to everybody.
And if you look at the prices, like especially for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, because I always like I want the tech deals. What they do is they lower the prices many months beforehand. So you're paying the same prices as you would have paid like in the Black Friday as you would have paid in July, June, even August. So they literally just lower the prices beforehand before these deals come out, and then or up to prices. I'm sorry, and then lower them back down to what they normally were. They have entire rooms full of people on just how to make money, and that's what a business is. How to make more money.
Yeah.
And it's I don't see that working. I thought that was illegal. Like you can't just change prices for one person and then offer to a next person based on anything, right? I mean, I guess bidding and stuff there's probably some crazy loophole because there's always a fucking loophole in which these guys get around this and get away with this shit. But that's not right. You can't. You shouldn't be using. It shouldn't be like that, right? And it's like squeezing the toothpaste, right, to get every last bit out of people, right? We're the toothpaste.
That's what they're doing to us.
Yeah. And so what happens if it's based on your economic status and you were doing good in life, but now like it's your situation is different. Now it's charging you that $5 for a loaf of bread when it was only supposed to be charging you like $1.50, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and they don't care. They just don't care at all.
No.
They want the money, and you're gonna pay because that's it.
I remember reading about that with the price changes with airline tickets. With if let's say I was searching for an airline ticket and my cat right next to me, he's looking for an airline ticket, 2 different devices, 2 different prices, like noticeable difference in the price. And
depends on what kind of customer you are.
Or even how it knows because your bank
advertising ID,
how much data you've given away. If it knows like what socioeconomic class you're in, it's jacking the price up. It's pretty sick.
The other thing too, they also do it like based on like location and stuff. Years ago when we were at PIA, we had Linus Tech Tips did a video about it, and he was from Canada. He looked up from Canada, looked up the price of a ticket from UK to Canada, and it was just like a certain price. And then he used the VPN and changed his location to UK and looked up the same thing, and it was like $1,100 cheaper for the exact same flight, same seat, everything, just by changing which country you're in. It's like now, like a lot of places have caught on to that, and a lot of places are trying, doing their best to block VPNs and things like that. And there's even some places that have even floated the idea of making that illegal, so that if you willingly use a VPN to try to get a lower price, that they can actually like fine you for that.
How would they prove intent? How would they prove intent with something?
It's another one of these internet laws that are impossible. It's just like they just throw an idea like, oh, we're gonna do this, and like, okay, that's not possible, but sure, buddy, But like a lot of companies, like if you go on Amazon, or for example, they have a version of Amazon for like every major country around the world. And the exact same product that's like $10 on Amazon US might be like $3 in Amazon in India, because they know people in India may not be able to afford that product if it was $10.
Wow. So
people that figure that out, and they'll use a VPN to like connect to a different location to get it. Of course, the issue with that is if they're shipping it, that's where it's a problem. But yeah, like they're literally like manipulating us. But they manipulate us every possible way they can. Like they invest heavily into figuring out how much they can get away with, and like they even will get to the point where they know this is going to piss off 5% of our customers are going to figure this out and never use us again, but that's an acceptable loss because we're going to make 9% more profit. So they even like will work it down to knowing how many of us are going to catch on and quit. You know what I mean? It's really wild.
And what's crazy is they're not even going to figure that out for them. They're just going to be like, hey, ChatGPT, hey, Claude, figure this maniacal evil plan out for me. Here's what our old maniacal evil fucking plans were. Go ahead and make this more evil maniacal so I get more money.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
It's crazy.
And I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong, but
No,
it do
not
be
wrong.
like that.
It's not
Yeah, I
wrong.
saw this.
I was watching. I was doing flights. I was flying to Hawaii a lot before I moved here, when I was working and stuff like that. At FEMA and things. I would have to book my flights, and number one, my kid's grandfather told me to shop for airlines on Tuesdays, and then he told me to clear my cache whenever I was looking for those flights, because if you keep looking at the flights before you buy the ticket, they know you're looking at it, they know you're eyeing it, they're watching it, and then you're going to buy it at some point, and the price is changing, but they try to jack it up on you to let you know, buy the ticket now before the price goes up. And then I clear my cache, the ticket goes back down. This is on Google, by the way. I cleared my cache, and the ticket went back down to the original price. Why?
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that happen too when I was buying plane tickets, and I've
a couple
had to tell the
years ago.
company that when the company would get me plane tickets to get the cheapest price. You know what's crazy is I've explored all aspects of privacy, right? Like every tool imaginable. I had something that would switch my IP address, like I would say, like every 3 seconds, just because I wanted to see what would happen, right? I was getting different versions of the internet as I browsed the internet.
Yes.
Like if I would refresh, I like say I was reading an article, I would get the same article, but like translated or something, or like maybe this is the UK version, or this is like the Germany version, but it's still in English, and then parts of it were cut out or different. And this wasn't just articles. This was like entire websites like behaved differently because it was based off of my like geographic IP address, so it was serving me different content. I didn't try to purchase anything with it, obviously, like that's the whole point. But even YouTube was doing it. Like as I would go to YouTube, it would start showing me different like videos that it would suggest to me. I wasn't logged in, but it'd be like, oh, this person's like I can't remember what locations I used, but it was just different countries and stuff that I was bouncing through IP address wise, and I was seeing different crazy versions of the internet that it would think that I would want to see based on where it thought that I was. So it's them doing this, the pricing, it makes more sense to me. I'm not sure what's happening with the tariffs and all that. I know that's a tax on the people because we end up paying that, but I know that people are getting different pricing based off of where they live, and as far as like Amazon is like serving these people. So you can see something on Amazon be $115 or something, and then you switch your location, and then your currency changes to say like reals or yen or whatever it may be, and it's no longer 115. It could be like 90, or it could be like $197 as it's converted back to US. So I think Steam tried this, Steam, Valve, they tried this with something called Counter-Strike Source back in the day. And they made an economy based off of like what people would buy and what they were willing to pay for it. And so we saw like the highest like priced, weapon in the game and stuff was like priced at like $10 in-game currency. And then the lowest price items were priced at something like $5,000, and like something that was worth like $300 ended up being $5,000. So there's a lot of data out there with people experimenting with prices, but that barcode stuff, the one where it shows you the prices and based off of your facial expressions, that one's insane, because that's what we're doing at brick and mortar stores now is if you don't just shop online and just have them bring it to you, if you go in, like everything is monitoring your behavior just so that they can sell you what they
I don't want
to
to be study subject. Sorry, just
Poker
because I want to buy
face while you're
something,
buying
I need to
stuff?
buy milk.
It's time to go back to
For my
COVID times and wear a mask everywhere you go out.
Right?
If you can Google that, I think these things have little cameras on them, and they check out your face. So if like you raise your eyebrows, you're like, oh, like if you have any emotional reaction to that price, or if they see you pick up the product and look at the ingredients, it knows that you looked at the ingredients, and if you didn't purchase it and you made some kind of facial expression, it's like, oh, these people don't like
We should get that for politicians.
Oh, yeah.
If they lie, then they get thrown out and thrown in jail. So we could have all these things for us.
Right. just connected to an ejector seat. Like it instantly just get ejected right out of Congress.
Space. No, into space. Crazy.
Yeah.
Did
So,
any of you
and
guys read
another
the?
new thing they're doing, kind of related to that, is that as gaze monitoring that workplaces are putting in. That essentially, while you're working, you're on camera all day long, and it's tracking your eyeballs to make sure that you're actually looking at the screen and doing your work.
Yeah, that's
insane.
what they call that's fucking enslavement. I don't care how you
That's-
look at that shit. That's
exactly.
enslavement.
Now you want to
Way
open
too far.
thoughts?
It doesn't matter what they're studying. It's the person is not okay with it. You shouldn't be doing it.
I've known people that have very unique work style where like they will slack off for 20 minutes and then in the next 40 minutes will crush what would take other people 2 hours to do.
Yeah.
And then they'll kick back for another 20 minutes and then they'll just crush it for 40 minutes. And that's how some people are. They work in like giant leaps where they just do a ton of work in a short period of time and then they maybe relax for a while. And like at the end of the day, some of those people get way more work done than other people. So like who cares if they're taking a 20-minute break here and there? What matters is, are they getting their job done? Are they doing a good job at it? Then who cares how they get there, you know?
That is what matters, right?
Absolutely.
Work their own methods.
And that's how I've always run my teams, especially with anybody I've hired. Either the work gets done or it doesn't. Like I don't give a shit what you do. Like you can literally be
your employees. Why'd you hire them?
Exactly. That's exactly the point. And I get it. Situations come up, where people have to deal with stuff in their households. Like, something happened and they got to go pick up their kid from school. So I don't know what the situation is, but it's fine. And if something's not on time or something, and then they can get it within like the next couple hours of that time frame, I get it. I'm lenient. I've always been lenient. But then to see those things like with the trackers and stuff that, even the punching clocks, I feel like if you have to punch in and stuff like that, it's automatically like insult. Like if anybody looked at your time card and sees that you were a couple minutes off, like go fuck yourself.
The very second you started working, which by the way, you had to turn your computer on, which you're already working, log in to that system and then punch in. So you actually were there 5-10 minutes ago, but now you're getting dinged because you didn't hit the button at 8.
Oh yeah. I think you had some gig that was doing that where you had to wait for the computer to boot up, and if the computer booted up slowly, it fucked your time.
It would have like, oh, we're doing an update right now, so wait till the 100%, and it's like
outrageous,
barely moving.
That's a good question.
Your phone and geofence it.
How many hours lost from people's work gigs and stuff? How much money and time is owed because they had a fucking Windows update or something like that, and they missed a meeting or they missed a punch-in time.
Oh, for sure.
I got some class action lawsuit notice. Was it like JCPenney or like Bank of America or something like that, where they weren't paying us for our breaks and stuff like that, and they weren't paying us for the morning process to get logged in and clocked in. And then I got $16 in the mail for that. Okay.
So I'm jumping in at the end of this here. Sorry, but go back to that airline pricing stuff. I've been in a room sitting next to my mother and my sister looking up flights to New York, right? And we're all getting different prices.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what he's saying.
The same person, three different, or the same area, 3 different devices, 3 different accounts, 3 different prices, and
hotels too. And rental cars,
right? And it's going into everything now. So it's like, who is regulating that, right? And like, how is that legal?
I experienced the same thing with rental cars, absolutely. And let me give a shout out to Costco because you saved my life with that stuff.
Let's just be real for a minute. If you walk into a store tomorrow and they have a shirt and it says $20, and then there's a sign next to it that says $40 for African Americans.
Like, oh my God, yes.
It would be the front page of every freaking newspaper, rightly so.
You might get a brick.
But somehow they're allowed to look at us and determine like what class or financial class they think we're from, and then discriminate against us based on that. And somehow that's okay. Like,
it is a class war, isn't it?
Absolutely. Like price discrimination of any kind is not okay. I mean, it's actually illegal. So I don't even understand how this is even allowed to exist, but it does something.
And I've seen this or some version of this, like when I would fly back into Los Angeles and like I needed an Uber back from the airport LAX to my apartment. I would get like normally it would cost like $20 to get from the airport to there, right? I land and it's peak times and stuff, and it's like, oh, now it's charging me $45. But then another flight would come in and they all needed Uber. So the pricing went up to like $80, $90.
Oh, the surges.
And then they would cancel my ride, like right as it's pulling up, cancel my ride, and then pick somebody else up. Just because of the pricing changed. Even though I accepted it already over the line price just to get home, and because somebody else is willing to pay $90 for whatever it is, they chose them instead. And I don't know if that's class war or anything. I'm not smart enough to know what exactly that is. But it just goes to show that it's always going to be about the money, right? And
absolutely,
always.
It is the root of all of this evil, is it not?
And I had to wait something like I was like, fuck this. I switched to Lyft, and they were doing the same shit. But luckily, I had some driver that he was like, oh, he just stuck with it. I was like, thank you so much, man, for not canceling the ride. He's like, yeah, I see these prices going up, and I'm so tired of what happens to you guys that, you're just trying to make it home. Half the time you're hungry. You're so tired.
I remember that day.
And that's the thing, too. And I tipped him well. So there's a smart way to go about it, I guess, for, with these things. But
and
I don't know.
Cool guy.
It's not the Lyft driver's fault, right?
They're
not the ones setting the pricing.
They can be pretty inherently good. Those drivers. I've not had a bad experience.
I can't tell you how many times I've had really cool as hell Uber and Lyft drivers.
And most of that money is not going to them. Like that's a messed up thing. Like
exactly.
Uber Eats got in trouble. Uber Eats had like a thing where you could pay $1 or something or $2 for priority, where supposedly they were going to do your order before other people, and that your driver wouldn't have multiple orders, so they would come right to you. Not only does none of that happen, they don't even tell the driver that it was supposed to be priority, and they don't pay the driver any extra for it. So they're literally just lying to you and taking your money.
And they take some of the tip.
And then meanwhile, the driver's got like 3 other apps open and shit. He's got 4 or 5 other orders in the car.
Yeah. You're driving back and forth all across town with your food.
Whatever happened to old-fashioned pizza delivery guys? Like they're really kind of just
they're still there, but now they outsource that pizza delivery stuff to the DoorDash and Uber drivers. So now there's the regular pizza drivers doing their normal deliveries, and then there's people coming in with like the DoorDash bags and stuff, also picking up orders to go get to people.
Right, it do be like that.
Well, I mean, what you want to really talk about what happened to the pizza delivery drivers? I mean, we can get into that if you want to. I used to own a pizza delivery restaurant.
The gist of it.
What happened is these companies like DoorDash and Uber Eats literally came into restaurants and decided we're going to deliver for you now. So they would put your restaurant on their website and start advertising that you can buy from Uber Eats, and then they would artificially raise your prices so they could make a profit. And then these people would just start showing up at your restaurant for orders and picking them up and delivering.
Wow. That happened? Oh my God.
Oh yeah. It happened to me.
Insane. Wow.
Well, it's funny how tech is supposed to, like we're all kind of about removing the middlemen, right? We want as little people in the middle of transactions as possible.
Right.
And what's actually been fed on to people is more middlemen. It's funny how that worked, because regular people don't see, oh, it's just technological and this is what happens. They don't actually see what the difference is. So it's interesting how, again, kind of like the ignorance or just like people not connecting the dots works against, society in that manner. Wow, I never really thought about it like that, Nathan.
It's so true.
And people also don't understand how many, delivery restaurants went out of business right at the beginning of COVID. And
I noticed
a lot of people chalk it up just to COVID, but a lot of it is actually the Uber Eats and the DoorDash stuff.
Yeah.
Because you have all these businesses, especially you think of sub sandwiches, Chinese food, pizza, right?
Yeah.
Before 2017, that's the only thing you could get delivered for those 3 things. But no other because nothing else really delivers well anyways. but now they're doing it. So you can get a sloppy cheeseburger from McDonald's if you really want it, delivered by some numbskull. So, so many of these small businesses went out of business.
Somebody who probably stole half your fries and spit in your fucking burger.
And like I said, a lot of these businesses didn't even agree to sign up for this stuff. Like it just started happening to me.
Yeah. There's no choice with these with this, right? And they injected themselves into businesses, and that's probably some really smart decision. Like if you're a fucking evil villain,
right?
Well, I had a third party, interjection that had online ordering system that I was working with. So it was our own that we had a certain pricing rating on. And then Uber Eats figured out some way to just disguise themselves like a customer and scoop in on that. And then just send some. And they would show up, 45 minutes after the pizza was ready, obviously, or something like that. And then deliver some cold trash to my customers. And it was an absolute nightmare. And there was nothing legally you could do about it.
Wow.
They would do it, and Grubhub
properly.
Grubhub was really bad about that. And Grubhub would tell their drivers to pretend they are the customer. They're don't mention Grubhub. Go in there, say your name is Michael, and they literally tell them to pretend you are this person picking up their food. And that's so crazy. Now you're forcing your drivers to lie for you, and
yeah. And welcome to techno-feudalism, guys. This is how it is. That's how these Curtis Yarvin people want it. There's the gig economy class. I mean, that's the thing. Is if you have no other choices and all the jobs are gone, what do? You have to sign up for these stupid ass.
Who does that reward? It didn't reward my pizza delivery drivers. I didn't pay my pizza delivery drivers a huge hourly wage, obviously, but they made a lot in tips. Yeah. So now when their deliveries are getting stolen by a corporation, what am I supposed to do? As an individual pizza shop owner,
should have had them sign up on the app as drivers and deny everything that's not your pizza store. That way they can take those and still get the delivery, and then just deliver as normal. That way nobody else can get them. But who wants to do that shit though? Me, what I would have done, I'd have been this is some bullshit, and started coding something to actually do something about that. I would have fucked that shit up.
So here's the thing about that is AI is now analyzing Uber, what was the other one? DoorDash, all those things. They're using AI to analyze the customers, to analyze the drivers, analyze the restaurants, all the behavior of the employees and things like that. They're logging all of these things into running it through AI now, and they're going to, what are they doing with all of that information? And, it's been said that they're selling it as well. So,
and I'm sure they're analyzing too. You like where you live, what is the average income for that neighborhood that you live in? Giving you priority status for this and that.
I mean, Uber mentioned announced this year they have a whole new advertising plan, new program, and it's literally tracking the drivers and tracking specifically what types of purchases people like to make, and even on what days and what times, so that they can sell the information to Taco Bell and say, hey, this person really likes to have tacos on Tuesday night around 6 p.m. So you might want to show them ads at 5 p.m. Yeah, exactly. So they're literally tracking people's eating behaviors, and also the ordering that they do, because they also do store orders for groceries and other items. So they're literally tracking people's preferences and selling them to the companies, saying specifically, this person on this day at this time likes to order this type of stuff, which is that is super creepy.
I don't like Uber. A couple of years ago, my brother, something happened in the middle of the night. I get a call. My brother had a car accident, and I didn't have a car at the time, so call an Uber. It's 4:30 in the morning. I put the wrong drop-off address in Uber. It's now, and I put not such a good neighborhood to get dropped off on accident at 4:45 in the morning. So I says, buddy,
oh man,
time is of the essence. You're kind of trying to get there. There was no humanity within he's like, well, I'm on they could tell where I am. You need to call. And I'm frazzled. I still half asleep. And that was the moment I decided this is not a viable, because it took away the
a taxi would have taken you.
Oh, no problem. They probably might not even
Also,
charge you more.
he
Just
coulda
a
just-
little more of a tip.
He could have just been a good person and took you. You know,
Yeah,
it's
of course.
insane.
well,
Why not?
I've had
Why would he want to drive into the bad neighborhood to drop you off? Why not skip that, go to the good neighborhood and drop you off?
Yeah,
Sheesh.
Well, and I think that's the real point, right, Susie?
humanity
the
right there.
difference here is they've removed the humanity between
Yes.
people. Even when you just get in a taxi cab and try to go somewhere with the driver and say, "Hey, driver, I'm trying to go here," right? So now it's like I got to talk to an app. I got to go through corporate. If anything, the driver won't even talk to me when I get in the car. We're not human beings. Like it's crazy.
I mean, it's worse than that. I look at Waymo. They don't even have a human at all. It's literally just a car.
Exactly.
I saw some video the other day, like somebody with these girls were in a Waymo, and the thing just pulled out into the middle of like a 6-lane, like on each side of the highway. There's like 6 lanes of traffic, and it just pulled right out, and it was like going like 2 miles an hour across all of the lanes. And this car's coming up like 50 miles an hour, slamming the brakes on so they don't slam into the side of the car. And then, like, there's nothing you can do about it. There's no driver. They're just sitting there screaming at the top of their lungs, praying that they don't get killed by this thing.
Madness.
Yeah, I mean, I love technology and all this stuff, but the driverless car thing, I don't think I could do it.
No.
Nah, that's not really.
No. Oh,
I love driving for
they
starters.
Did that.
Me too.
They filmed the trip too, and it was just so creepy to be in the back seat and there's no driver. It's like, don't you want to climb in the front and grab
Yeah.
the steering wheel?
Yeah, that's the thing. You're supposed to still be ready to control it.
Weird.
But I see videos of people that are like playing chess, driving down the road, having a picnic in the back seat. I'm like, no, that's not cool, man.
Did you,
And
you
it's
see the one
obvious
where they
that,
had
you know,
a
they're
traffic
testing it.
jam? Did you see the traffic jam where they had it all trapped in a circle?
Oh yeah.
Because they're all going in a circle and they're blocking
Yeah.
each other, and it's all Waymo cars.
Yeah. It's so
And who
stupid.
wants to sign up to be the test subject? Like, that's crazy.
Well, now they're doing
I don't want
18 wheelers. They want to do transport, 18-wheeler
Oh,
transport
yeah.
with driverless.
No.
And I'm like, that's
Do you
horrifying.
want
Like
that on the road?
30,000
If every
pounds
vehicle on the
flying down the
road
road with no one in control of it. No
And
thanks.
you know what else works for those 18-wheelers is fucking trains. Like, I don't know what the hell
Yeah.
happened to trains,
get-
but they work.
You know,
I gave
and
my daughter a small car. You know, we gave her a little car, and the thought of having her, and she's in, you know, California where there was big old freeways, so to the thought of the car with those guys behind her, like, what the, you know, it's not. I'm never okay with that.
there,
Oh, sorry.
Someone needs to be holding that steering wheel.
no
When
responsibility.
every vehicle on the road is driverless, then I'll be more likely to think that it's a safe thing. When every vehicle doesn't have a human interaction, it's all just computerized, and every car knows what every car is about to do, then maybe it's a viable solution. But right now,
Maybe
that's a
but
good
they still
point,
make
right? Like, the
mistakes.
big thing
they
is
have
the mixture.
errors. They have
You know what's crazy?
malfunctions.
You know what's crazy? Do you know that Cadillac had a fully self-driving car like 10 years before Tesla existed?
They're
Wow.
And
great.
they were racing them around racetracks against like qualified, you know, professional race drivers, and they were winning. Like these Cadillacs were beating them, and they were driving almost flawlessly. And still, they were like, "Nah, bro, this is way too dangerous to put on the market. This needs like they're like this needs at least 20 years of testing before
Right.
anyone should be put on a public road." And then Elon pops along and he's like, "All right, let's launch it like 3 months, guys." Like,
It
what
was
the hell?
government funded.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
He got all his money from the government. He's not, you know, he ain't stupid. He's like, all right, I'm not responsible. I'm
smart
backed by these guys.
Person.
That's the word right there. I was gonna say, you know, there's some part of that deal that says he's not responsible for rushing this to market and whatever happens.
Right.
That's why he
And
never
with-
seems worried.
it's
Right.
all, wasn't it a remote software update where the customers didn't even get training? You know, here's your fully autonomous car, but have fun. don't fuck it up.
Crazy.
And then they
Yeah.
shut somebody off. They didn't pay. Like they must have missed a payment on a Tesla. The car wouldn't even open.
Are you
It stopped in the
serious?
middle of the
That's
road.
crazy.
That's better than LoJack.
Well, and
Locked
this
out
is
of your own
really the
vehicle.
sad thing about all of this too. It's like, you know, it would be great if my car could drive me to the store and back, right?
Sure.
And, you know, obviously someday that's going to be a viable option. But we're living in the test it out for yourself era.
Fuck around.
What's insane? There's people that go out and get hammered and then make their car drive them home afterwards because they're drunk, and it's like,
yes,
no, that's not okay.
Have you seen those Tesla drivers where they're filming the person driving to work and they're just they're
taking a nap? That's so insane.
Open,
Wow.
in the driver's seat.
Hey, Chris Miller, do you have any plans in the future for having anybody on that has a good understanding of the Meshtastic or Mesh Core or low mesh networks?
Not planned currently, but we could look into that for sure.
So, are you familiar with what those are?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
I was actually talking to my son about them today.
Oh, cool. I'm wanting to purchase some devices, and I've done some research on it, and I think I know the direction I want to head to. But I was just curious if there's anyone in your universe that may be coming in here where I could, somebody who knows a little bit more than just me watching YouTube videos and reading stuff online without any without having a full understanding of the technology. Just knowing that it's something that I want to have handy in case of a emergency or in case I want another route of encrypted communication.
Yeah, and it's not something I've looked into too much, but it's something I would actually be interested in learning more about.
It's a cool technology, but in practice, like an actual mesh network for anything, you have to have so many people involved. It works if you have like a million people spread out, and then those devices can contact each other. And they have some different, like you can send a text message like from an airplane using some kind of technology. It like uses some kind of radio signal, not 4G, 5G or anything, but I've seen these things in play and action. They're actually really cool. And like these people's receivers, they act as like, you can send things from it, but also you can receive things from it and it relays it onwards. But it breaks down because you don't have that many people that have these devices. So it's good in theory and could work in theory if you had a lot more people spread out everywhere that had these things to keep it relayed. It's why it's cool, but it just doesn't make sense in theory.
The I-5 corridor on the West Coast I've been looking at the nodes coming online, and they've got a pretty good network building. It hasn't quite got over the Cascade Mountains into Bend for Mesh Core. Meshtastic's got about 178 nodes as of this morning. So, and that's a lot bigger than it was 4 months ago when I looked at it. So that it's growing because the devices you buy, they're cheap. They're like $50 or less.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, and so anybody who's into technology can buy a little handheld device or buy a repeater and stick it on their house, and it's a cheap way to build a network. I think that within the next year or two, the network is going to be large enough for it to be viable here in Bend as an alternative source of communication in case of some kind of emergency, like the cell towers fail. And I've been in a situation where there was no power and no cell signal, and for over a week. And it's tough getting communication with a little wind-up radio, hoping some of the ham radio operators are calling into the radio station.
Is it like a hurricane?
Pretty much as close as you can get on the west coast of Oregon. It knocked down whole hillsides of trees between Seaside and Portland. It was huge. This was like I don't remember how long ago, 15 years, maybe 20.
I was going to say, I remember that something like that happened.
No, you might want to check out BitChat, Jay.
Yeah, I saw that in the private chat. I wrote it down already.
Yeah.
Do you need internet for that?
No.
Okay.
No, you just need Bluetooth. Like people take those to festivals and they can talk to each other around the festival. But even though Bluetooth is a weak signal anyway, so like if they go too far out, you're not the message is going to get there.
Isn't Bluetooth just kind of unsafe though? It's just so interceptable, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, if the thing is encrypted, it's sending packets that are encrypted over the air. But it's and I've seen a lot of Bluetooth exploits where people could exploit people's Bluetooth on their devices and gain access to it.
I've seen this.
And then, like when Bluetooth first came out and stuff, if you didn't disable Bluetooth, your phone battery would run low and everything.
Right.
So,
I hate
but yeah,
that.
these mesh networks, they are the future. Like I mean, think about it. If like World War III happens and like when shit hits the fan, it's already looking like it's.
They might take out cell tires. Yeah.
Like guys, gas for the car was $5.39 or something to put in gas, and
the other day, yeah.
And it's just going to go higher. It's just going to get worse. And so what happens when the cell phone bills to go from $20 a month to like $120 a month? People are just going to cancel. They're going to look for other alternatives, right?
Mm-hmm.
I myself, like the only reason I have a cell phone is because like my CEO was like, "Hey, you need a cell phone." I'm like, "Damn it." Otherwise I just used the internet, and I would just call people over voice over IP, or I would just text people. I didn't want a cell phone. Like literally, I was one of those people that I've been on the internet since I was 10 years old, right? I was late to the game even getting cell phones, because it just didn't occur to me, like, why would people want a computer in their pocket when you got the real thing right here? You can do everything with it. And then I got to use this lockdown piece of shit BlackBerry type stuff. But honestly, the little thumb keyboards, when your keyboard would slide out and you could just type with your thumbs and stuff, dude, I was the fastest that could be.
That
with
was
that
cool.
Shit.
Well, and there's one way to get around that too, Shane. You just got to live where there's no cell service.
Yeah, but then
well, that's kind of where we live. It's not really.
Then they have some satellites and stuff. There's no getting around it. And then you build a house somewhere in the jungle, and then all of a sudden there's a random 5G tower installed, like right next to your little tree house. And it do be like that. They're like, "Oh, we noticed that you're going to need cell service here in a town of 11 people."
Now they're putting up. We're in a wilderness where they protect. We have ohia trees, and they're endangered, or I can't remember what level of it is, but they're in danger because of certain fungus and things like that gets on them and destroys them, and it's a hard time for them to grow firm. But they're a really neat tree, and the ohia lehua, and it's basically only grows in this area. And now they're putting up all these towers. They're just going through, and it's Verizon's like, "Oh yeah, we're not going to do," or they legislated not to have them, but they had the contract 7 years ago, so they're going to do it anyway. And then they did. Like very quickly, they just got on it and jumped on it and did it before somebody stopped them.
I'm reading something here
these are
right now.
Endangered forest things where nowhere else in the world, I'm not sure about the ohias, but there's things over here where nowhere else in the world it grows or lives. And they want to keep it that way. And when you're putting in these man-made things that throw out signals that we really don't know how dangerous it is, they're putting it right in the middle of trees, right next to schools. I'm not sure if this is a good idea, until we know better. Like you said, 20 years of testing needs to happen.
Something just landed on my desk here. FBI warns Iran aspired to attack California with drones in retaliation for war. So as early back as February, there was these marked ships off our coast with these drones on them. And I mean, it makes sense. They're not going to put them on they're just going to put them on some random vessels. But they were going to attack us with drones. I'm not seeing here how that was thwarted or anything. But that scares the living shit out of me, because especially being here in Hawaii, it's not hard to just roll up a boat next to the island and stuff and launch your little crazy barrage of drones.
My family is over there in California, so yes, I do have a problem with this.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that Israel hacked Iranian cameras, like traffic cams and privately owned cameras, to help identify their targets they were going after.
Oh,
yeah,
Jonathan,
we saw that Israel
trying to talk about.
Israel hacked
episode had lined up, right?
What's that?
Israel hacked Iran, and then we're getting the technology to hack cell phones and hack these these cameras and all this from Israel, like Cellbrite, the Paragon, all this stuff that the Department of Homeland Security is purchasing now. It was originally Israeli made, so it makes sense that Israel hacked Iran to figure out where to land some bombs on their leaders and stuff. It makes absolute sense. Is it fucked up?
Guys, I got a little something we can watch here for a second. Assassinate a president. I'm saying that the capability to track people is there, and these cameras can and do get hacked.
I am understanding what you're saying, and that is the argument in all of those cases. There have been more than 30 of them. Constitutional challenges brought against communities for using Flock, making exactly the argument you're making. Everyone has determined you cannot do what you just said can be done.
If you can say this person was at this location at this time, you have tracked that person's location. Have you not? Look at that Salt Typhoon hack where the hackers were sitting there undetected for months. Like, for all we know right now, that could already exist inside Flock. And when that happens, there's somebody who has the ability to track the movements of all kinds of people all over the country. That could be used to assassinate a president.
All right, that's some crazy shit there, huh? That's
right?
That blows my mind.
Just to add to what they're saying, didn't
Can I call that?
Epstein say that
you get 2 internet points
with
Chris.
Israel on, was it Zorro or the island, to have
Wait,
cameras set up everywhere?
Is this the same Epstein? The one? Are we talking about the same one that didn't kill himself?
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay, I was just there to clarify. I needed to make sure. What were you saying there, Jonathan?
Where, the guard who Googled him
I
a
don't
couple
remember.
times right before they found him dead and got $12,000. Why was she stupid enough to put it in her bank account?
Well, I mean, obviously, there's a whole bunch of bullshit with all that, but I think the Epstein topic's for another time. Because we'll get too much into it, and we're all going to start getting pissed. Like, I've seen this conversation already happen in my mind before all this has happened. So, did you have something to say on the Flock cameras there, Jonathan?
I actually wrote down a question that I have for you guys. It would help me out. That kind of relates to Flock, but one of the things that I've come across is there's all these topics that are talked about, like on these social hours and on you guys' shows on Saturdays. It's a ton of information that should be made aware to the people that are writing the laws in the cities and state and country. But
absolutely,
the way that their system is set up, like at City Hall, for me to go up and approach the council people, I have 2 minutes to state my case. I thought I had 2 minutes at the state level when I signed up to do public testimony there, and at the last minute they dropped it to 1 minute. So what would you guys say to your city officials to warn them about privacy issues of today if you had 1 minute or less? Like, what's the top subject that you would want?
We should catalog it.
I would, I would have one spot, like a website link or something where people could go to, so I can like extend my 1 minute, as people wanted to look into this. But I would say, and I would just say it one sentence, like, they are blatantly spying on you and stealing your data, and you have solutions to stop this. That's all you need to know. For more information, go to this website here, and then I would just rant for like the next, whatever was allotted in my minute. And then, ideally in my head, I'd walk away holding my middle fingers and everybody would clap, but it's not like that. It's, if they reduce your 2 minutes to 1 minute, they're already on some bullshit, right? So you might as well throw some links out there.
I got you.
I think I'd go in on age verification.
Absolutely.
Because that's the biggest risk right now to everybody's privacy. And it's spreading around like wildfire right now. So like that's the biggest fight that we really need to get serious about right now, because if they are successfully get this everywhere, like, the internet is done. Like, the internet as we know it is not going to be the same. So,
and it's already not the same. It's the dead internet theory. It's not the dead internet theory. Is not a theory. It's bots everywhere. And then Meta just bought the company that is the bots everywhere. So it's all trash. It's all walled garden stuff. I'm not uploading my fucking ID anywhere. If anything, we're just going to make the platforms and then give people access from our circles to access to them. And if other communities want to join on it and open up there too as well, the answer to it, as far as like hey, you need to enforce that. You need to enforce that you require these IDs. The answer to that is no, thank you. Like, we'll fight that. We'll take that on, because it's just not something that anybody that values their customers' privacy is. You're willing to take on that data risk, right? And then it's just morally wrong. It just truly is morally wrong, especially when we believe in the very thing that connects us all, and that's the internet. So I would be willing to say no, is the thing.
Yeah, did it not connect everybody here?
Well, and that's the real issue too, right? It's like they call it age verification, but what it is every adult has to upload their identification to every website they go into.
And then how do you verify age, right? You have to verify that, hey, that's a person, and then to verify that that's a person, you have to verify who that person is, right? So it's not just one
hold
thing.
it up to a camera.
It's identity verification.
So any kid can grab their parents' identification out of their wallet or purse and just say, "Oh, I'm 27 years old," or whatever.
I'm sure there's going to be a market for selling accounts as well.
That's the other thing is you
Right.
create this system, and then that system creates a black market.
And that's a great point too. That's going to be the black market, right? It's going to be a bunch.
And they're probably going to control the black market because they're the ones with all the IDs.
Right. They just
probably
create a
will.
bunch of fake IDs and a bunch of fake accounts, and then they start selling them to kids. And
Yeah, they're like, hey, we can make double the money. Look, we got the IDs and stuff. We can sell all this data, but then since we already have the data, we can sell that data to
It's just
other people willing to buy it.
hurdle. It's just another hurdle for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're putting ourselves at risk because our data is being, constantly hacked.
Well, and what was that called, like prohibition or whatever, when they banned alcohol, or now when they ban like marijuana or whatever, or whatever you want,
Absolutely.
Thoughts.
What about people who have gone through ego death and they no longer have an identity? You know what I mean? What about us?
Right. It's just like, I don't want to be known on this website that I'm searching for a stupid news article on.
Right. Jeez.
Well, they want to know because they want to know our thought pattern.
I mean, a lot of these things, what it comes down to is, wanting the right to privacy. And, a lot of people would say that is a Fourth Amendment issue. And if you're interested in that, we actually have a really good stream coming this Saturday at 4 p.m.
Ooh, what's that?
We got Stephen Perez, who is the Program and Communications Director for Restore the Fourth, as in Restore the Fourth Amendment. And we're going to be talking a whole lot of different topics we have about surveillance, from FISA, Section 702 to face scan, all kinds of stuff. So it's going to be a really, really good episode. He's a real smart person. He's got a master's degree and stuff. And it's definitely going to be a good one. So you guys make sure you check that one out.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah, I can't either.
Speaking of checking things out, I think I'm famished, and I'm sure Susie is too. So if let's go ahead and wrap things up here. Definitely check out our stream here on Saturday. Definitely show Johnson some love on Reddit, and show us some love on Reddit too. We got the best articles out there for Mr. Miller and Nathan here. We really try to get all this information out there to people that if they do go seeking this stuff, they have a great spot where they can base their own ideologies off of these things, right? And that's the thing, is closing out with all of this. They do want your data. I can't wrap this up in 1 minute like Jonathan may want in the future, but they are taking our data. They are wanting our IDs. This is not just 1984.
We're here to stand up against it.
They're going to write a new book. It's going to be called 2026, and they're writing that book right now as we speak. And the only thing that can protect you are the tools and the innovations that are available to you. Like a lot of these things have already, they predate what's going on. You need to build that layer between you and the rest of the world, right? And whether it's Fourth Amendment rights, any of this, you have a right to protect yourself, right? And by doing that, you have a right to protect your own information and control your data output, as opposed to trusting people or autonomous systems with the data input that you're giving, such as your age and your name. And that's just the way it is. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. No matter how you cut it and serve it, it's still a bunch of bullshit being served. But you know what? We don't have to deal with bullshit in our entire lives. There are solutions. We have each other. And anybody who wishes to have a voice, whether you want to hide your face like I did today, and show up, you guys can identify them as an emoji symbol. Hell, identify as a poop emoji, because we are not here to be served bullshit. But come on here and speak anonymously if you wish. Hide and speak is just that. We want to give a voice and not just be heard, but to listen to new perspectives. We come into these things knowing that we're right, and we come into these things wanting to be wrong, right? as we go back to our projects after this cast, and we work on the things that we work on day in and day out, just know that there's people out here that actually live this life and actually discuss the topics that are most less talked about in the world. And as you can see with Jonathan here, that he's bringing this to light, he's bringing this to attention. And I think there's going to be more and more of these leaders out there, because the risks just outweigh the good, right? That we've still yet to see, especially with that Flock interview that we had. I've still yet to see, to this day, nothing's landed on my desk about how these autonomous systems and surveillance systems are protecting us and our communities. They may allow people to, corner cut. They may allow people to, get the same amount of work done or information processed to find people. But I've not seen anything where this is making a notable difference in our communities, because at the end of the day, the good guys got to go catch the bad guys anyways, right? So that's the thing is all these are hot topics. All these things are loaded, but with what's going on in the world, on the brink of some very great concerns and some very great fears, we just need to make sure that if we are ever the enemies of the world, us just being normal everyday citizens, that we have the means and the abilities to live the lives in which we wish to live. Like, if we want to have a nice little garden with our family and grow vegetables and the world fucks off, that's exactly what it is that we should be able to have. And I'm not going to be swayed any other way. This is the life I live. I wake up every day. The first thing I'm thinking is, how can I make the world better? How can I make the projects that I work with better, and how can I make the things around me better? And that's the choices that I make. But there's people out there that avidly want to destroy these little inner spaces. And to that, I just say, no, fuck that. But you guys have any closing things to say?
I just want to tell everybody to thanks for watching. Appreciate your time, and check out Roman Storm's story. And if you're interested, definitely sign the petition and help him out.
Definitely, I'll sign that Roman Storm petition right after this, because I do believe that Tornado Cash is a smart contract system. He innovated something. Why should he have to be punished for this? And made an example out of. So I'll definitely get that petition signed. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, Jonathan, good luck on your journey here. Let me know when the presidential campaign starts so I can vote for you.
No, not even city council campaign. I don't want to run for office. No.
Gotta be at least
I'm
mayor.
not a viable candidate.
Oh, that's a difficult position to be in. Honestly, I kind of almost don't want to wish it on anybody because of the amount of responsibility, the pedestal you're on, and the way they try to tear you down.
But
it's
really,
that's
also
it takes a strong person to be in that position, and kudos to whoever does.
And that's also a great message of just showing, Jonathan, like, it's not like he aspires to be the mayor or wants to do any of these things, but he got active in his local community. That's why he was the first hero of the week. And, that's an inspirational story for anybody who's watching this.
Truly was.
For sure.
Truly was.
And I just coming back.
You guys need to take your privacy seriously. You need to stand up against these things, because this is only the beginning. They're going to get worse. We have to say
and you
no.
can make a
now.
Difference.
We now have to say no and put our foot down. Our feet
and
down.
that's the thing.
There's actually a documentary out. There's actually a really good documentary out that kind of like outlines the plan for the future on like the current path that we're going. I recommend everybody check it out. It's a really good one. It's called T2 Terminator. It's got Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. But yeah, that's kind of where Palantir's heading right now. So you want to check that one out.
And they have the robots. They have the robots. These robots exist. And Susie and I just watched a movie where the robots were fighting, and it Lost in Space. Yeah. And the two robots were fighting, and she said, you know what? They absolutely believe that we absolutely believe that the elites and stuff have their own little private robot army. They're just fighting in rings and stuff, getting good fucking entertainment out of it. And pretty soon we're going to be thrown into that ring with those robots. And I'm not down.
Like the battle bots?
Yeah, battle bots. But these things have arms and legs and can ninja kick you and do all sorts of flips and shit. I'm not down with that.
I think Give me a Roomba, an electric knife, and some duct tape. I'll get you something.
Knife and some chiclets.
We'll figure something out. Hey, careful saying that stuff. You're going to make it on the robot list. You know what I'm saying? And just know this: AI robots.
I appreciate robots.
Before we end up in the octagon with robots and stuff that are looking to beat our asses, just know this: robots, I will whip your ass. Just know that.
It's not their fault. That's what I have to say.
For humanity,
it's the people who train them.
Yeah,
it's like a dog. If you train a dog to be bad, they're going to be bad.
He doesn't mean that, robots. He loves you. I'm telling you, I love you, future robots.
Robots. Shane, his identity has not been verified, so you can't count on anything he says.
I'm going to hear a whistle, and it's going to be a Scud missile landing in my front yard.
Great. Thanks,
Exactly.
Shane.
With all else said, I've had a great time here with you guys, but if there's nothing else left to say, I think the last thing to say is simply just onward.
Have a good night,
We build a safe place where the speech is always free, where cypherpunks go to just hide and speak. Hide and speak. We stay in the shadows and make some noise. Hide and speak. Digital freedom, yeah, that is our choice. Hide and speak. Privacy doesn't mean not having a voice. Hide and speak. What you want to share is only your choice. Hide and speak.
The early internet was the wild, wild west. Strange. Free. We explored, we broke things. And yes, we failed. No rules. And that was beautiful. But times have changed. We hesitate. We censor ourselves because we know they're watching. Surveillance kills curiosity, turning the internet from a frontier of hope into a cage of silence. And your VPN? It's based on trust. For let's be real, nobody has ever lied to me, said nobody ever. Yet true privacy is still within reach. vp.net doesn't rely on trust, it runs on real-time proof. Because privacy is about becoming your truest self when no one's watching. So you can be the best you when they are. Otherwise be an NPC, a digital product, and lose. vp.net, don't trust, verify.